Okay, we are now recording. So, have you seen a lot of my typing sessions in the past?
I haven't seen many, no, but I had a friend that got typed by you a few months ago, and he shared me a video like a week ago, and I was like, you know what? I'll try my hand on it because I got typed as like a ISFP and a ENFP last year, and like a decade ago, or maybe longer. I got typed as an INFJ, and then a few times I got typed as an INFP. So I was like, why not?
All right, well, let's see if we can figure out which you are. Uh, can you start by telling me a little bit about uh, your high school experience? Which kinds of classes you liked, which classes you didn't, uh, what stuff you did during your off time, etc.
During high school, I liked my music classes. They were kind of very open ended. I kind of wish they were a little more strict about it, but it was kind of open end class. Besides that, like academic wise, I liked I guess I like history the most.
Okay. Did you like school in general, or did you dislike school in general?
Oh, I hated it. I had to go to three different schools, and I was in special education when I was growing up. So I had to deal with a lot of that, and I even had to go into a sub school and a special education school. And they were still public schools, they weren't private, but I hated it.
What did they say was wrong with you?
They thought I had behavior disabilities. Yeah, and I got like diagnosed with ADHD when I was 9. Almost got expelled when I was 5 because I kicked the teacher.
Well, I'm sure the teacher deserved it.
Maybe. I barely remember it, but it was like so like traumatic that I just remember that little detail from those early years.
So, and this persisted all the way through when you graduated from high school, or did you get a GED or what?
Yeah, so I got like a modified diploma, and yeah, I persisted through most of high school, although I was doing half and half actual like regular general ed classes for like half the time for my senior year, and then I was full time like for the other half of the year.
Okay. After high school, did you finish that with a clear vision of what you wanted from life, or did you emerge from that just sort of at a loss for what you were going to do?
Yeah, I was kind of just like lost with what I wanted to do. I was like a real big hermit, but I also liked trying to make friends, trying to start bands. Near the end of high school, I kind of got myself into this one group just out of luck. I was just like randomly invited to someone's house and hung out with them for few years. I played in a band with them for like a year and a half, up until like the end of about a year of being out of high school. And besides that, I just like spent a lot of time just listening to music and hanging out with friends for a few years until I'd say it was about 3 years until I was actually like had a part-time job, and then I had a full-time one in like 2014 and on.
Okay. Do you still play music?
Yeah, I still play guitar.
Do you play in front of people ever?
Yeah, I've been playing at a lot of like parties, especially over the pandemic, and I am like in a band that has been that we've
Dedicated.
been trying to sculpt like since last fall. So
Okay. And do you write the songs?
Yeah, I write some of the songs. I'm the one guy in the band that has no like music major, and then the rest of my band, they all had like a music major in college, so they also write some songs too, and it's really cool, like jazz fusion-y stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Uh, do you envision your musical endeavors as being primarily a hobby, or would you like to see them develop into kind of like a job, or what?
Well, at the moment, I do work at a music store, which doesn't utilize them that much because I only kind of tell people like what to buy, and I work behind the counter, and I eventually see myself as kind of a support role in the music industry. Initially, I wanted to get into audio engineering primarily because, well, I was kind of guilt tripped by my grandmother to like, oh, music's not practical, and I kind of like decided at a young age to like go for the audio engineering thing, and I dropped out after 2 semesters. But yeah, I'd like to.
Why did you drop out? What didn't you like about it?
It was overwhelming.
Okay, so like too much information to learn, too much time commitment. What?
It's just it was too much stimuli. And I often got like I've had like depression for like a long time, so I'd like get down on things easily, and I was like really inconsistent and just not motivated to really learn stuff that wasn't fun or like was a lot of pressure. So
Okay.
yeah.
And when you experience depression, does that play out as basically not wanting to do anything, just wanting to stay in bed, or what?
Yeah, it's a lot of staying in bed, playing video games for countless days, not getting out of my room. So sometimes it has its other moments that just drop out in the middle of the day, like even when I'm like out, like when I'm not feeling like I'm part of a group, then get a little I get some like headaches, I get some social anxiety, and then it just kind of so it kind of varies.
Do you have a treatment protocol that you follow? Like, I always go home, I make myself a delicious meal, or some other thing. Like, I go out and I buy myself a new hat, or I I go home and I write a poem about how I feel, or something you do to address it when you're feeling not emotionally, you're feeling emotional distress.
The way I do it is it's probably not the healthiest thing, but I chase a lot of caffeine.
What's your what's your most comfort food? Comfort food. So it could be food or
Watermelon, watermelon.
watermelon. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at here is for some people, their comfort food is literally a food like that, watermelon. For some people, it's sleeping. For some people, it's a comfortable TV show they've watched a lot of times before. For some people, it's playing a video game.
I love video games.
For some people, it's smoking bowls and standing down on the porch and looking at people walk by. What's your comfort food thing? You know, when you're
Fruit,
feeling like to
fruit,
do to make yourself feel like I'm in my element or whatever.
definitely fruit.
Food, okay. Fruit,
Fruit. Yeah.
fruit specifically fruit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what kind like you like watermelon best, but what other kind of fruit do you like?
Well, right now I'm munching on grapes.
Grapes.
Grapes, kiwi, strawberries, what else? Yeah, there's not too many fruits I hate. Mangoes are also good.
Do you like pineapple?
Pineapple's good.
Do you prefer the orange melon or the green melon?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's cantaloupe and honeydew. Definitely cantaloupe.
It's definitely better, huh?
Yeah, cantaloupe's really good.
Nobody ever
That's
says
the yellow one.
yeah, nobody ever says the green one.
It's because, like, as a kid, I think it was kind of bitter, which I usually don't mind, but bitter and sweet kind of don't mix.
See, here's my theory about the green melon. If you get it in its optimal state, it's actually quite good. But that because it's green even when it's ripe, you get even less ripe versions of it than you do most melons, which typically you get not fully ripe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you
True.
get optimally harvested and cut green melon, it's probably pretty great. But you just probably rarely get that.
If
I
it's
don't
at its peak of ripeness or
Right,
before.
right. You get it further from its peak of ripeness than you get the other kinds because the other kinds you can tell when they're not ripe because they're not the right color.
Right,
Anyway,
right. Just like watermelon when it's kind of pale, but when it's like very super pink, then it's like delicious.
yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah.
I'm not eating enough good watermelons. Maybe I'm giving watermelon short shrift.
For a while at one of my old jobs, I had some guy from like Florida like bringing watermelons during the summer, like every week. It's good
Mhm.
watermelon.
Are you okay with there being seeds in your watermelon?
Yeah, I don't mind it. In fact, I think they say the seeds are fine for you. They have like zinc in them.
Yeah, but do you spit them out usually?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. All right. What did you do between getting up this morning and now?
Oh man. Well, this morning I was in a haze. I didn't get to sleep until 4. I was kind of in a really bad mood yesterday because I had a lot of friend drama go out, and well, it was over petty shit. So I lost a friend there. Anyway, this morning I grabbed an energy drink from the fridge. I think I grabbed some food. And then I was kind of just like hanging out for a bit, and then I deactivated most of my social media. I went for a run around noon.
Does that
So,
happen a lot that you deactivate your social media?
no, I'm just like feeling really on edge about a few things, and it's not just that kind of social thing that happened yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, social media is inherently an exposing thing. You make yourself vulnerable to various kinds of attacks that you wouldn't be if you don't make yourself publicly into a potential target. It's kind of implicit in it. But certain kinds of social media make for a more rough and tumble experience than others. I find that for me, YouTube is a pretty non-toxic environment.
Oh yeah, it's pretty tame, yeah, in
Uh,
comparison.
um, so have you used Facebook? Is Facebook one of the things you deactivated?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram was the main big. Excuse me.
What
Instagram was the main big one. What's up?
what didn't you like about it? Was it specific individuals there who you couldn't get away from in some regard, or was it something else about the architecture of the thing?
It was complicated conversations.
Complicated conversations.
Yeah, it's like it was a lot of fake shallow crap. Like,
Is there a lot of DMing on that?
yeah, there is. Like,
Okay.
it would seem with like it. I've been like kind of in a pattern, especially with like people of, you know, of the opposite sex. Like I think it's been about 4 people, and it seems like deeper than it is, but it's not. And the last person was like, "Oh, I don't think I can hang out with you anymore because my friends don't like you." It's like, can't you make your own decisions?
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
yeah, that's mostly why.
That sounds emotionally disruptive,
Very much.
and it's difficult to deal with things in a state of emotional distress. How much do you think you notice the emotional impacts of things like that?
You know, I definitely noticed it, especially since like I use a lot of like substances. I've like, you know, like caffeine, alcohol, and stuff, and like when I have that stuff in and it's mixed in with it, and I get some headaches. Then it's like it's definitely a roller coaster. Like you one hour you're in this mood, 2 hours you're in this mood, and it's kind of hard to keep track of.
When you're happy and having a good time, what are you doing?
Uh, Playing music with friends. Sometimes playing video games, although that's kind of trailed off as I've gotten older. I've gotten a bit restless. Running's fun. I've been working out a lot this year at the gym.
Okay,
You know,
you've been commissioned by uh, an Austrian nobleman, to quote the band Cake. You've been commissioned by an Austrian nobleman to write a rock opera about something. What do you write your rock opera about?
oh man. There's so many things. Well, I guess mythology is like the first big one. Probably about something video game related, likely. Maybe kind of psychology related.
A psychology video game about the psychology of video games?
Maybe. Like anything's on the table if it doesn't sound ordinary, right?
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of curious as to if, well, what if you were asked to express your vision to the world for the world's consumption? What what parts of your vision do you most feel a need to express, or what would you most meaningfully express? What would be a good use of your energies if you were tasking yourself with saying important things to people?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one. I usually don't write many lyrics. I write some poetry. Ooh, I guess the political route is always like something you could go with, especially how extreme and corrupt it is. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, can you tell me? I'm going to tell you a short anecdote, and I want you to tell me the moral of the story. For example, if I said, I went to the bookstore and I saw this book with this amazing picture on the front, so I bought it. But when I got it home, started reading it. It was terrible. Then you might say, that's why they always say, don't judge a book by its cover, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little anecdote like that, and you're going to say, that's why they always say, miggity, miggity, meow. You'll fill in the miggity, miggity, meow part with your own words. Okay.
Okay.
It can be
Gotcha.
an existing, it can be a real saying, or it can be one you make up. Okay, either way is fine.
Okay.
So I went out to brunch with Judy and Bob the other day, and after we were done, Judy said, "Let's go hiking." And I said, "But I'm wearing my flip flops. Let me run home and get my shoes first." And she's like, "No, no, it'll just be a short little walk. You don't need them. You don't need them." And I ended up going out hiking with them, and now I got all these blisters on my feet.
Well, time to call the foot doctor.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess you could say that's a moral to the story. Can you think of any other examples?
Unless you're hardcore, don't go hiking in flip flops.
Okay.
That's an extreme sport right there.
Okay. Can you talk to me about an instance where you encountered a problem, figured out how to solve it, and solved the problem?
Oh man, I have no idea.
Okay. If all people named Frank get a red flower in their hair, and I get a red flower in my hair, am I necessarily named Frank?
You know, if it was a merchandise kind of appeal, if you were a mascot or a logo, then yes.
Okay. If no X are Y and all Z's are Y, is it necessarily the case that no X is Z?
Algebra needs numbers.
Okay. Okay. Let me try some different questions. So
Okay.
I would like you to, I'm going to tell you the first part of a story, and I'd like you to tell me the end part of the story. I'm just going to make up the first part, and you just make up the end part of the story. Okay.
Okay.
So once upon a time, there was a chicken and an alligator, and they had become friends back when they were little. They'd meet down by the river. The baby alligator would come and say, "Hey, how's it going, land creature?" And the chicken would say, "It's going fine, water creature. We enjoy each other's company, even though you're in the water and I'm on the land." And one day, the alligator said, "Look at me, I'm on the land too. I can walk on the land now. My legs has grown long enough." And then the chicken said, "You are on the land, but looky here. I can flap my wings and I'm in the sky." And sure enough, the chicken flapped their wings and landed up on this branch. And together they applauded each other. The chicken with its wings and the alligator by flapping its jaw. Now you finish the story.
And then years later, the chicken learned how to swim, and the alligator learned how to fly.
Okay, pretty good. Um, can you tell me about your relationship with task completion?
Pretty bad. Unless I'm at work, then it's decent.
Okay. When you are talking to a customer at work about what kind of, say, microphone to buy. Pretend I'm in the market for a microphone, and I'm coming into your music store and I'm asking you about which microphone I should get. Hi, I'm here. I need to buy a better microphone than I currently have. Can you help me?
Yes. I'd suggest grabbing the SM81.
You just suggest one right out the box. You don't even ask me any questions about what I'm miking or anything.
Usually that comes after. They're like, well, I'm using it for this kind of thing. Like if you're going live, SM58's the good thing if you're singing. SM57 miking like instruments, amps and stuff. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Do people mostly ask about microphones, about instruments, or something else?
A lot of it's lessons and rentals. Like
Mhm.
usually like band instruments and orchestra.
Right.
So kind of cater to the kids.
Here's your tuba. Here's your rental tuba. But you know what? Some of those rental tuba people will end up buying a tuba probably eventually.
I wouldn't know. We don't have tubas. I'm sure we can get them.
We don't have tubas.
We don't. We have French horns.
Do you have a big sign in the window that says we don't have tubas?
I would make it easy. Or I
Do
could
you get
have.
a lot of
Or
people
I could.
coming about it?
It doesn't really happen. I think tuba's more of a late high school or college thing. But yeah, if we could have a blimp above a store that says no tubas. It'd be good advertising.
Describe to me something that you consider to be logical versus, say, emotional.
Logical. Like the physics of things, like that fell over there, that fell over this place. Oh, it's tipping over this way, and then money, of course. Talking money is always logical. Emotional is usually opinionated. It's kind of your perspective on things. It might just be a gut feeling. It could be something you kind of think is rational but isn't.
And what about intuitive versus concrete? What do you think are meant by those terms?
Um, well, intuitive kind of dances around things. It enjoys kind of like different possibilities and doesn't really stray away from the kind of task at hand. Concrete is more kind of direct. It's like kind of impulsive. It's direct, but it's like very grounded.
Okay. Do you think you're better at solving concrete problems or abstract problems?
Hmm. Maybe abstract.
Okay. If somebody were to come to you seeking like relationship advice because they're having problems in their marriage or something, would you feel like you're a good person to provide such advice?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What makes a person a good person to give such advice?
I think as long as it's kind of like factoring in all sides, it kind of like mends and kind of like saves the relationship.
Okay.
So I think that would be like kind of noble.
Okay. Can you describe for me some of the things that other people in your life provide for you that you value?
Um, yeah, empathy, uh, time, um, laughter, adventures.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right. Um, can you tell me what do you think your feelings are more informative to you about? Tell you what do you learn more about from your feelings? Either one, what's most important to you, and I guess where you should direct your attention and value more, or two, when your boundaries have been crossed.
What are the other or
And then which of those is do you feel is do you get which which of those is a better description of your relationship with your feelings? They are informative regarding what you want and what's most important, or they are informative regarding when your boundaries have been crossed.
probably what's important?
Okay. And do you have a good understanding of how you'd like to see your life proceed from this moment for the next, say, 1 year? Do you have like a 1 year vision of you in a year, or a goals to achieve, or something like that?
Uh, doing doing gigs, hopefully. Getting faster with running, getting stronger with bodybuilding, getting better at guitar, getting better at kind of like emotional regulation.
Okay. Um, what about your sleeping habits? How much sleep do you get? How much do you think you need to get? And how regularly is it? Is it like the same every day, or does it shift around?
I think sometimes it shifts around. It depends on the kind of depression and just how I've been doing or how active I've been. It's about I'd say generally about 6 to 7 hours. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, sometimes I get like bad insomnia.
Um, when you get up in the morning, do you prefer to squeeze the last little bit of sleep in and have less time to get ready and get ready comfortably before you have to leave the house or something? Before you have to leave the house? Or do you prefer to get up a little bit earlier, sacrifice some extra sleep, and have more time to casually get ready?
Definitely get up early, have more time to casually get ready.
Okay. All right. Um, do you perceive yourself as somebody who's more of a team player, or somebody who's uh, more true to themselves?
Good question. I want to lean a little bit towards true to themselves.
Okay. What do you think gives you more satisfaction? Seeing the impacts from something completed, or figuring out the way to solve a problem?
Figuring out the way to solve a problem.
Okay. Do you feel like what makes you more upset at yourself? Being incorrect about something, or being socially awkward?
Being socially awkward.
Okay.
Because people memorize emotional reactions more.
Okay. What do you think makes you more defensive when when somebody points out or says you're being socially awkward, or when somebody says that's not very original, you're not being very creative?
Definitely that second one.
Okay. Can you talk to me about some of the media that you consume when you're just watching something for entertainment? You're not trying to learn anything from it?
Usually a lot of like anime. So I watch like a lot of like slice of life stuff, like Beck, Nana. I've even watched like stuff like Full Metal Alchemist and just like a lot of that kind of stuff. And what else? I guess I naturally watch a lot of like videos of like albums, like like music albums and stuff.
Oh yeah. You mean you listen to music on YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
yeah.
I usually listen to most music I listen to from YouTube. And I don't use their YouTube music thing at all. I don't know if that's working out for them or not. I just use regular YouTube as a way of playing music. Because they
I
have that separate app, right? They got YouTube Music.
yeah, I do have it. I downloaded it over the pandemic. It's not bad.
I mean,
It's better than Spotify.
well, anywho.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then I talked to you already. You told me to tell me about like what you do. You go running and you play music and stuff. What about, I guess, which, well, what values do you prioritize more highly when it comes to other people dealing with you? Would you rather somebody else be kind or fair, if you can only pick one?
Kind.
Okay. How about effective or reliable?
Reliable.
Okay. How about correct or um or loyal?
Correct.
Okay. Uh oh, that's very interesting. Okay. Well, Rachel, I wonder if you might want to chat with him for a minute or two. I'm not quite sure what to ask you to ask him about. I've covered a lot of ground here. But I don't know. Maybe you guys can talk about, like, I don't know. Do you have any things that are in the news or magazine stuff that you're interested in that maybe know about? Like, I don't know, things happening in current events in politics or the news or celebrities or anything like that?
Hmm. I know there's been a lot of stuff about the recession.
Do you think we're in a recession?
I think so.
Um, we'll talk to Rachel or a little bit about like relationship dynamics or something. What you think makes for a good friendship? Hey, Rachel, can you sort of just follow up on that answer? Perfect.
Yeah. So, what's something that you look for in a friend?
Um, Usually, kind of consistency. Maybe somewhat quirkiness, not very ordinary. Someone kind of sticks to their kind of grounding and their path, but is also like a two-way street with someone.
Um, how about say at the workplace? What is something that you look for in a coworker?
Um, Someone that like communicates and kind of like gives good play-by-play on what's happening with what they're doing, and then like someone who's like not like overly arrogant, and just like someone who's not very emotional, like anger or sadness wise. Uh, yeah.
What does it look like when somebody fails to meet your expectations? Or can you give us an example of such?
Um, Kind of when they like start acting fake, or they start like kind of like mocking my personality, or they if they start being kind of like spotty with communication for like a long while. Uh if, yeah, if they don't want to do things, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you what type I think you are, and then we can discuss that as you wish to.
Okay.
I well, have I really tested your extroverted? And let me actually, I haven't really done. Let me try at least one more extroverted intuition test or a couple more here. So I've come up with a new invention, and I'm hoping you can help me come up with names for it that it might be marketed as. Okay.
Okay.
The new invention is it's a it's an attachment that goes onto your ear that holds cigarettes. It holds up to 10 cigarettes, and as you pull one out, it moves forward into the next one, takes its place. What's some names for it?
Volcanic sound pocket.
Say it again.
Volcanic sound pocket.
Volcanic Sound Pocket is an interesting name for it. Anything else?
Charcoal crib.
Okay. None of these names seem to indicate what the product is or what it does.
I guess not.
That's good. That's a good point. Okay. Well, those are both good names. So okay. I feel pretty confident in my typing of you. It's fine.
Okay.
I believe you are an ESFP.
ESFP.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And would you like me to sort of justify my conclusions here, or explain what lines up, where it lines up, and why I think that means what it means? Or do you want to present an alternative type to check against to make sure you're not that type instead, or something like that? Some people come in with an idea of what type they might be and want to verify that they're not that.
Yeah, you can ask some more questions.
No, I'm saying, is there something else you think you might be that you'd want me to specifically check for again?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I was thinking you were about to say ENFP.
No,
I will be honest. No.
I was never going to say ENFP. The reason being, your extroverted intuition is not dominant.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Was there a runner-up that you were thinking of?
ISFP,
Okay.
but I don't think you're any polar either. So that, and I do think you're TI polar, and that makes you ESFP. And also, like, interestingly, almost all of the valuing questions you answered consistently with what I would expect for ESFP, which is to say, you express as an absolute value SI stuff, TI over FI, and TE as an especially conscious absolute value in all the value questions, which is exactly what you'd expect or predict. And so there's a lot of stuff lines up well with that typing of you.
Interesting.
It's a somewhat a controversial type to be, kind of, because a lot of people, I guess, don't want to be identified as ESFPs because it's not like a sexy type, like an intuitive thinker, whatever. But ESFPs are the same as everybody else, and that we are an expression of our attentional strengths and implicit deficits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions or anything else you want me to do, as we have about 10 minutes left?
Uh,
I understand these things are kind of heavy. They take some time to process.
yeah, they definitely do. So the fourth stack of that is NI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about fourth and fifth slot functions, they're both the same kind of functions, both knowledge functions, and everybody's relatively conscious in both their 4 and 5. So ESFPs, ESTPs, ENTPs, ENFPs all have the ability to translate back to include both NI and SI kinds of knowing in their communication, which is to say, you can express things conceptually and provide examples.
Mm-hmm. And then how does ESFP kind of operate, like from the top down?
Well, I mean, foremost, they're about actualizing things, making them real, seeing them manifest as impacts, or, making an actual difference, quote unquote. And they're about doing that regarding that which is most important to them. So a healthy ESFP has a clear understanding of what's important to them and is able to impactfully do in that area, whatever that might be. So for you, maybe that's music is very important to you, and you're able to have impact in that area by going and playing live and performing, and but that's making it happen, right? Rather than just talking about it or conceptualizing it. For you, probably talk is cheap is an expression that resonates as basically true. That it's a lot easier to talk about doing something than it is to actually do it, and a lot more meaningful to actually do it. Additionally, you'll feel very satisfied when there is a problem, some sort of barrier between you being able to achieve impacts in areas that are important to you. When you can figure out the solution to that, your way around the barrier, that's going to be you attaining points on your scorecard kind of attention, right? You feel like, hooray, I was me correctly. And then lastly, the area where you're going to feel like sometimes you need to invite it to the party more often, or you wish you paid more attention to in this way, is about making sure you pick the single right choice where you don't miss something obvious that's determinant. Like, you don't want to the moment might come and go pretty quickly. You don't want to miss it. Sometimes you're busy doing something you already like, and you worry that you might not be paying attention to when the moment comes for this other thing and you miss it, right?
Right.
That's one expression of fourth slot NI. And
so it's there, but it's a little inactive.
Well, it's playing the role it's playing necessarily because you're busy actually making shit happen. If you're busy actually making shit happen right now, you can't be waiting for the right moment for to take some sort of action. You can't both be somebody who's putting a handle on getting task A done and be the person who's also attending to when's the perfect time to begin task B, because task A is going to be occupying your attention, right? So on the backstack, the way it plays out is you'll find yourself most defensive about creativity or originality. You'll find yourself blind or most subject to critique on correctness grounds. You'll get mad at yourself most when you're socially awkward. And you will lose respect for other people most when they can't take care of themselves.
Yeah. I think that sounds about right.
So that's my shorthand description of the ESFP.
I mean, it's not a totally unlike I think you call it an unsexy type or something. It's I think that's the performer.
Yeah, well, yeah. As long as you have sufficient space to perform, then I think ESFPs are happy. I think ESFPs get restless and unhappy when they don't have that space where they can perform, where they don't have an opportunity to do what they're meant to do, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can feel claustrophobic.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to stop this recording. Are you
Okay.
comfortable with me publishing, or do you prefer that it'll share it with you privately automatically?
Yeah, you can publish.
All right, cool. So then I'll put that up today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, take care.